Yunnan, a southern province in China, has one of the most picturesque scenery in the whole China and perhaps in the world. Located in the southern part of China, Yunnan province is a mountainous province located between the Chinese provinces of Sichuan and Tibet in the north and Guizhou and Guangxi in the east, Vietnam and Laos in the south and Myanmar in the west. Apart from its picturesque mountains, Yunnan is known for its ethnic diversity as various ethnic minorities live in autonomous counties within the province. High-speed railway travels this mountainous province with tunnels and bridges, shortening the travel time and make the travel not only faster but safer and more convenient. How was the experience taking the high-speed train in Yunnan, and how much is the difference compared with taking the bus? Let's take a seat by the window and understand of how the railway shaped China and high-speed railway makes China better connected with each other. The journey today started at Kunming railway station, the main station for Kunming city. Population more than 8 million people. And this is the rear entrance of the station, going up the escalator to the station hall. And the security here is so tight. Everyone need to show the ID or passport, scan the body and the bag under the screener. The security level is tight with a reasonable reason, because in the year 2014, there was... I will not tell you the story further, you may read it by your own, just find it in the internet if you find it, because bear in mind, China has one of the strictest media control in the world, because everything is ordered so beautiful, everything is fine, the party control everything. Yeah, don't worry, keep on going, keep watching. Arriving at Kunming railway station, station hall, it is easy to get lost in this massive station with people lining up for the upcoming train. However, this is not the largest railway station in Yunnan. Not the largest, even though it looks big. We will see later. Kunming railway station serves both high-speed trains and standard trains, including sleeper trains. And why does everyone not just take the high-speed train and insist to take the slow one? Because simple reason, money. A high-speed train ticket is more expensive than the standard train. After waiting about 30 minutes, it is time to go down the platform waiting for the train. To enter the platform, passengers need to scan their national ID or passport. In the case of me as one of the tour group participants, the check was done manually one by one and the whole group was allowed to enter in one group via manual gate. And the thing is, despite the modernity and advanced technology, queuing is not observed by some people, because there are several people try to rush into Malaysian tour group and just to skip the queue and the ticket gate. And do not let me start on the public toilet cleanliness. I can even smell it now. The first journey is by semi-high-speed train from Kunming, the capital city of Yunnan, to Lijiang, a historic city located north of Yunnan, homeland of the Nashi minority. Despite the availability of high-speed trains, sleeper trains are still available and in high demand due to its cheaper tickets. This sleeper train just arrived at Kunming after traveled 2,000 kilometers from Xiamen at the eastern province of Fujian, a 2-day journey. At 9:53 am, the train arrived at the platform. The time in China is the same as in Malaysia, Singapore and the Philippines. Instead of installing expensive platform screen, train stations in China simply use cables to prevent the passengers from being too near with the oncoming train. Maybe this cable thing can be installed in Malaysian KTM and ERS stations. What do you think? By looking at the other platform, white trains passing through Kunming station. This is one of the types of high-speed trains available on service, while this green train passing next to my train is semi-high-speed train. So you might ask, what are the differences between semi-high-speed trains and high-speed trains? What are the differences? Speed. The biggest difference is the maximum operating speed. Semi-high-speed trains can travel up to 160 km per hour, while true high-speed trains can travel up to 300 km per hour. Basically, semi-high-speed trains in China is comparable to ETS train in Malaysia, and in fact, the manufacturer of most of the ETS train is CRRC Suzhou, which is also manufacture trains for China domestic service. I talked about ETS3 in the previous video, where the extension of the ETS3 service to Johor Bahru near the border with Singapore marked the completion of double-track electrification project of Malaysian West Coast Railway between Padang Besar and the Thai border in the north into Johor Bahru to Kuala Lumpur. To know more about ETS and how was the service like, how was we like to be one of the passengers, the first passengers we did, the link to watch this video is right here in the above. Click. At 10:14 am, the train started its journey from Kunming to Lijiang with a distance of 520 kilometers. Long distance in Malaysia, but just a local trip within a province in China. The country is so big. Tall new apartments dotted the landscape of the Kunming suburbs. The train travel on a viaduct, one of the many bridges that the train will travel on. Going further out from Kunming, the landscape is dotted by commie blocks, factories and tall mountains on the horizon. Entering the first tunnel throughout the trip, one of many tunnels in this mountain province. Let's take a walk to the other carriages to see how the carriages looks like. Standard tickets are not allowed in the business class in front of the train, and in general the train is quite quiet and smooth. Landscape has changed from bustling Kunming city into countryside with the farms and villages. In China, the definition of city and county is quite clear. No large-scale development outside the city limit or change of county status. The train eventually leaving Kunming city boundary and passing through Chuxiong Yi Autonomous Prefecture and later Dalibai Autonomous Prefecture, the homeland of the minorities. There are tunnels, and more tunnels. Based on the train window manufacturing date, which is 25th of January 2025, the train is relatively new when I rode the train on January 2026. Despite that there are towns and stations throughout the journey, the train did not stop as the next destination is Lijiang, far ahead. Tall viaducts make high-speed railway through mountainous Yunnan possible. The top speed of the train is 160 km per hour, which is the top speed for semi-high-speed train. And looking out the window, the speed is impressive enough. And how fast does the actual bullet train travel? 300 km per hour. The question will be answered in the next train trip. For now, let's going into the brief history of China high-speed rail project. In the early 20th century, railway development became key factor of developing China. Dr. Sun Yat-sen, the founder of modern China, in his book Jiang Luo Fang Lue, or The International Development of China, published in the year 1921, planned a network of new railways crisscrossing China beyond city ports at the east coast. He proposed the construction of more than 100,000 miles or 160,000 kilometers of new railways across China at outlandish plan at his time. As post-imperial China struggled with warlords, corruption and widespread poverty, Sun Yat-sen's expansive railway vision seemed impossible. After the establishment of People's Republic of China in 1949, railway expansion became possible as the communists gained full control of the whole country. Railway development in the mid-20th century China is focused more on capacity and connectivity instead of speed. By 1990s, existing railway lines were upgraded to allow maximum speed of 200 km per hour, but true high-speed trains need a dedicated tracks built from scratch. The first high-speed railway in China was opened in the year 2008 between Beijing, the capital city, and Tianjin, the port city serving the capital. By December 2025, China has built 50,000 kilometers of high-speed railway across the country and keep building the new ones. How China could develop high-speed trains and build high-speed rail network from zero before 2008 to the largest high-speed railway network within just 18 years. Factor number 1, material. As China is the so-called world's factory and most of the goods are made in China, the materials needed for building expensive and complex projects such as high-speed railway can be made domestically. Number 2, technological transfer. As the manufacturing cost is lower in China than the developed countries, China developed robust train building industry by attracting foreign investors. Chinese early bullet trains were designed mostly based on Japan's Shinkansen and French TGV before China started to develop its own bullet trains. Number 3, the capital. As the second largest economy in the world, China has enough capital to materialize expensive high-speed rail project. With government support, state-owned companies build the high-speed railway and operate the high-speed lines, a business model too expensive and unprofitable for private industries. Number 4, the large population. As the second most populous country in the world since the year 2023, there is a demand for high-speed railway, as there are 113 cities with more than 1 million people. Number 5, to reduce the dependency of imported oil. Of course, flying is cheaper as now everyone can fly, but airlines are sensitive to the kerosene price, which often impact the cost than impacting the ticket price. Furthermore, China imports oil as domestic oil production is not sufficient to fulfill its domestic demand. Electricity in China could be generated from various sources such as coal, gas, hydroelectric and renewables such as solar panels and windmills. Thus, building a high-speed railway is a strategy to connect the cities faster than road transport with more sustainable energy sources that can be generated locally. Okay, back into the train. There is one train attendant will visit carriages to sell the products. For example, like this one, this attendant is selling hair supplement product. As Yunnan is a landlocked province with limited navigable rivers and winding roads, railways are crucial to transport the people and goods in and out of the province. To reduce the dependency on imported oil, trains are powered by electric locomotives that can be generated locally by coal, hydroelectric and renewables such as wind farms and solar plants. Not only trains, electric cars are start to dominate roads in Yunnan with similar reasons with electric trains, because to reduce the importance or reliance on the petrol imported oil, plus benefits given by the government like rebates and discounts to encourage the usage of electric cars among the public. Passing by the suburbs of Dali. However, the train will not stop here at Tali, instead continuing the journey to Lijiang. We will come back to Tali for the second train trip. Stay tuned. After leaving railway branch to Tali, the view of Hai or Lake start to appear. Hai is so big that the word Hai, which is sea in Chinese language, is used instead of the word Hu, which is lake, because it's so big. Very big. Hai dominates the view after leaving Dali. With the elevation of 1,920 meters from sea level, water from Hai flows out to Yangbi River at the south and eventually to Mekong River. From Yunnan, Mekong River flows all the way to Laos-Thailand border, then Cambodia before ends at South China Sea at southern Vietnam. Another train attendant came and promoted Mongolian yak cheese made in Inner Mongolia, an autonomous province in northeast China. Therefore, welcome to Fami World Food, where we try some unique products sold in Chinese high-speed trains. This is yak cheese. It is a little sourish and softer than normal cheese. It tastes kind of solid yogurt, excellently paired with crackers. The cheese sauce that put all over kind of Malaysian food is fake. It is a cheese flavoured sauce. The real cheese is look like this. You cannot press thing like this and press it, make it a sauce, you know. It doesn't work. As the train leaving Hai, Lijiang is still far ahead, 120 kilometers to go. And as one of the members of Malaysian tour group I joined is a teacher retiree, Chinese kids start to surround her to practice their English. Because even as China offered visa-free travel to visitors from selected countries including Malaysia, encountering foreigners is still a rarity for the Chinese living outside major tourist areas. Arriving at Lijiang station at 1:44 PM with a total travel time of 3 hours and 30 minutes. When I tried to get closer to the train front, suddenly the alarm went off. So thus, this is the closest I can get to the front of the train. Welcome to Lijiang, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, homeland to the ethnic minorities and Heilongtan, which provide a breathtaking view of Yuluang Xueshan or Jet Dragon Snow Mountain. Lijiang is the major rest stop for most tourists going for Yuluang Xueshan, a sacred land for Naxi minority, a snow mountain with a view unlike any other. After Lijiang, the trip to Tali was by bus, which took a whole day as the bus stopped at several locations including a non-pre-planned stop at a Hui village, a unique countryside experience indeed. Tali is a city in Yunnan with more than 700,000 people live in the city, popular for its 3 pagodas and its old city, another UNESCO World Heritage Site. From Tali, the tour group took another train via Kunming to Kaiyuan, a town in southern Yunnan, an actual bullet train this time. The next train trip is between Tali and Kaiyuan via Kunming with a distance of 530 kilometers. This time, it is an actual bullet train with a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour. I will tell you the reason why the tour group went to Kaiyuan after we arrived there. The train will depart early in the morning, thus the station looks empty at first. Despite the station being empty, security is never loosened. It is tight as you can imagine. National ID or passport, body and luggage all thoroughly checked. As the station is just open for the day, the toilet is clean, at least. And again, there are some unruly travelers who refuse to queue and barge into our Malaysian tour group as we were checked manually and can pass through manual gates. At 7:08 am, our tour group were allowed to go to the platform as the train is waiting there. The train configuration is long as two EMU sets were combined. At the opposite platform, a sleeper train departed from Tali station towards the Hong, an autonomous county in the western Yunnan bordered with Myanmar. At 7:24 am, the high-speed train departed from Tali station towards Kunming, then turned south to Hong He. Kai Yuan is the second last station before Hong He, located near with the border of Vietnam. Leaving Tali, the train entered the high-speed track that used by the semi-high-speed train between Kunming and Lijiang in the prior trip. The time is 7:45 am, but it is still dark outside. While we are travelling across Yunnan countryside, let's take a look into the history of high-speed railway in Yunnan. The railway development in Yunnan was started in the early 20th century. Kunming was connected with Haiphong, Vietnam via Indochina-Yunnan Railway, built by French, completed in the year 1910. After the newer Kunming-Yushi-Hekou Railway was opened by stages and fully operational in the year 2014, Old Colonial Railway was no longer handling passenger services. Unlike in other provinces, railway construction in Yunnan is more challenging compared with the rest of China due to mountainous terrains, deep gorges and earthquakes. Yes, shaking. In the year 2016, Shanghai Kunming High-Speed Railway was opened, marking the expansion of Chinese high-speed rail services into Yunnan with a length of 2,066 km. The journey between Shanghai and Kunming by rail reduced from 38 hours to just 9 hours. In the same year, Nanning Kunming High-Speed Railway was opened, connecting Yunnan with the southern provinces of Huilin and Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Province. This train partly used Nanning Kunming High-Speed Railway. Inside the train, the current speed is 192 km per hour. Unlike the previous trip, direct between Kunming and Lijiang, the train service will stop several times throughout the journey. Next stop, Nanhua. With a combination of more capital, better technology and better construction techniques, Yunnan high-speed railway development is fairly recent by Chinese standard. After Guangdong North, the train picked up the speed again to reach 200 km per hour. Nearing Kunming city limit, the train speed reduced to around 140 km per hour. The train passing by green semi-high-speed train waiting at the station. High-speed trains get the highest priority on the track, followed by semi-high-speed trains, then sleeper trains and cargo trains. The sight of tall apartment buildings and commie blocks means that the train is nearing Kunming station. The station is large, modern and clean. The train is impressively fast. There is one thing that Malaysia is still doing better than China, which is people are rushing in and out at the same time, causing bottlenecks at the train doors. Nobody wants to give in, nobody wants to give room to others. How to move like this? At 9:50 am, the train is leaving Kunming station. With 9 platforms in the station, Kunming station is not even the largest station in Yunnan province. The record for the largest station in the province is located in the next station. Due to Yunnan's strategic location with Southeast Asian countries, Kunming thrives with cross-border trade. Kunming is also the terminus of China-Lao Railway that connects Vientiane with the rest of Chinese railway network. Numerous trade agreements make Kunming the center of goods transit between China and Southeast Asia. Goods made in China are gathered in Kunming, then transported by lorries via road to Laos, Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore. The train travelled through newly developed areas within Kunming city, and the new station is not far ahead. Welcome to Kunming Nan station or Kunming South, the largest station in Yunnan province. With an impressive 30 platforms, this station is not even the largest station in China. If this is not the biggest station in China, imagine how big it is. The biggest railway station in China, in fact the biggest railway station in the world. The record is held by newly opened Chongqing Tong or Chongqing East Station, opened on 27th of June 2025 with the same amount of platform, just with bigger station building. After leaving Kunming, the train accelerates to 222 km per hour, a true high-speed train experience. As the train entering Honghe, Hani and Yi Autonomous Prefecture, the temperature is getting higher as the train travels southwards. And let's see how is the condition in the carriage. The legroom is so spacious. There are blinds as the sun rays sometimes too unpleasant to the eyes in this highland. 2 hooks instead of 1. Arriving at Yunnan or Yunnan South Station at 11:40 am. The travel time between Tali and Yunnan is 4 hours and 16 minutes. And here is the reason why the tour group travel all the way to Yunnan, because this is not the city that we intended to visit. 35 kilometers from Yunnan is the Hui settlement or Chinese Muslim settlement of Shadian, located within Guizhou city. Shadian has the largest mosque in southern China, one of the largest in the whole country. The rationale of taking the train instead of bus is that the high-speed train could cover double the distance within the similar amount of time. Faster. And maybe you might ask, what is the comparison with the bus? On the trip from Shadian to Kunming before returning to Malaysia, bus trip took about 4 hours to cover the distance of 230 kilometers. In addition, buses in China has a mandatory rest period after driving for several hours. Let's say if the bus driver drives non-stop without mandatory rest period, the GPS system within the bus will detect the abnormality and traffic police will be noticed. Thus, train is better as it is faster, non-stop and more comfortable going through tunnels and bridges compared by bus on winding highways. And there you go, my own experience of high-speed train in China. The service is fast, smooth and efficient. Have you ever taken a ride in high-speed train in China or any other country? You may comment down below. If you like to take a ride on a high-speed train in China, including in Yunnan, there are several ways to buy the ticket and reserve the seats. You may come to the station to buy the tickets, but for foreigners, it is quite a hassle due to language barriers and ticket can be bought at the manual counter only. Another more convenient option is to buy the ticket online in the website 12306.cn or 12306 Minute app in Alipay app. Or in my case, you may book a reservation in any tour group to Yunnan and let the travel agency settle all the ticket purchases. Security checks are mandatory and passport is always been requested at the security checks and at the ticket counter. Getting into the train is relatively easy. Just scan national ID or passport and you are allowed to pass through the ticket gate. No physical ticket need to be printed. Reference list in the form of article is in the description for your further reference. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new about high-speed train in Yunnan, China and how railways make the travel through challenging mountains and valleys possible. Thank you so much for watching again and see you in the next video.